We're back. Amber is still feeling a little Hollywood from her week off, but
it hasn't washed off me yet.
I know. You
Still
didn't
with
get
us.
autographs. You just hung out with them at the pool.
That's right. It was all under the
Well,
radar.
TV
Low key,
people with
our
TV people.
fedoras and
Yes, okay.
TV people.
Yeah.
I guess I'm counted in that group. Me and Molly Shannon.
Oh yeah. She just doesn't know it.
Well, she's actually funny.
We're back on the Morning Brew. We've been off for a week, so
We're a little
we're
rusty.
knocking the rust off the edges of this vehicle a little bit today. Dennis Domrzalski is here, thank goodness, from Albuquerque Business First, and we're glad to see you, Dennis.
How you doing?
Very good. How are you?
Really well.
Well, we're back to downtown again, and speaking of knocking the rust off, downtown is trying to revitalize again, and it looks like some interesting things are happening. What's the latest?
Well, you know, you got that C&M thing that's going in there on the Galleria building there. They're going to have like an incubator thing.
Right.
I mean, they're going to fill a lot of space. That building is
Huge.
like, it's huge, and and a lot of people have left. You know, you've still got that Innovate Albuquerque thing. ABQ, no one really knows what it is. They still have yet to buy the building. The Board of Regents, you know, approved buying it, but
They haven't written
the old First Baptist Church.
They haven't written the check yet.
Not yet.
I see. So I'm thinking bulldozers are going to move in and knock it down. But
I don't know what else you would do with that building. I mean, other than destroy it. And start over. Yeah, you got to.
Sure.
But you know, the good thing about downtown is that over the past several years, it's been very slow, but there has been a lot of residential construction, meaning apartment buildings. Now, some of these are for low-income folks and stuff like that, but it's at least bringing people there. And if you look at it over the past 10 years, quite a number of things have popped up. That's a good thing to get people living down there.
You bet.
But you know, it's still a long haul. I think the problem that people have is they're expecting one giant thing to suddenly change everything. And maybe that has happened in other cities, but it certainly hasn't happened here. You know, downtown has been through, in the time that I've been here, like 20-some different redevelopment plans.
Yeah.
Several reincarnations.
And what I don't understand, Dennis and Larry, is you see all these, this new construction, and they're not just low-income housing, it's also very high-end lofts.
Right.
Very high-end apartment buildings, too, so you've got this disparity. Okay, but where are there's still so many vacancies.
Yeah.
And they keep on building them. And wasn't there going to be like some moratorium on building until you kind of
You would think
fill these, you know,
you would think that there would be. You know, I think the biggest, and I haven't checked, and I don't know, that old First National Bank building down there, that's all lofts. I have the
and
feeling
they're
that
very
there's
high-end. They're incredibly expensive.
But I don't know anybody who lives there. I don't know. I doubt that they're full.
Urban hipsters.
Yeah, well.
But they like yards. Like out in New Mexico, you can have a big yard. You can have a house for what you're
Right.
paying for. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Dennis, several incarnations of this, and the marketplace always wins, and it will decide what happens.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so there's turned the 4th Street Mall. They just, you know,
Right.
they're redoing that. They're going to put a street back in. That's one thing. It's better than having just people hang around there all afternoon drinking and doing drugs, which is kind of what goes on there. So
And
I
then
think that'll be an improvement.
The grocery store at the
grocery-
Imperial building,
yeah.
that'll really help.
Yeah, but again, I think it's a long, lengthy process, and I think you know what people here are expecting is sort of instant results, and I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
You know, you're not going to get an instant Denver. It's just not going to happen. I always say, you know, you have to look at how this city grew up. The city grew up after World War II, mostly because of the base and the labs, and the people who worked there. You're talking PhD. Physicists and nuclear engineers, they don't need to go downtown. And that's kind of what happened. That's how we grew up after World War II. It was an automobile society.
Yeah.
So, and if you look at the downtown, it's a relatively small area. It's not as big as some of these other places.
No, it's not. No,
And you
it's
have to
not.
also understand that we don't have the population. You know, this whole 4-county area still has less than 1 million people. Denver's got 3 million.
No.
So,
And
know,
we don't have a stadium downtown.
Yeah, it's not a fair.
I
would
don't
have
know
helped,
that
I
a
think.
stadium is going to do anything. I just think you have to have a place where people want to go. And I think in Albuquerque, there's okay, look at ABQ Uptown. That place is booming. I mean, it just is. It's a nice place.
People want to go there.
People want to go there. They can park. The restaurants are nice, and that's a that's a really big space. If it were up to me, I'd bulldoze almost the entire downtown. You look at those stores. You look at those buildings. They're old. They're from the 1920s.
Yeah,
and maybe
it's
some of them
time
need.
gone by.
Yeah, I think most of them are obsolete. I mean, that's what I would do.
I kind of wonder how they stay open. A lot of the retail shops, they just don't seem
Yeah,
to carry.
I'm shocked at some of those that are there. Now, the one good thing is the Man's Hat Shop, which has been there forever, which I buy my hats at. The other thing is that the county is considering pulling 700 people out of the downtown area, which could be, yet another blow.
That makes it tough too.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about nonprofits. You're writing about that in Albuquerque Business First. Fill us in on that story. What's going on?
Yeah, okay. Decided to look at the nonprofit industry in New Mexico just to see how large it is. What is it? Okay, so there's about.
Seems big.
Yeah, well, there's
We're a
more
very
than,
giving state.
where there's more than 9,000 nonprofits and about 9,300, 9,500.
Really?
Oh yeah, tax-exempt organizations. Collectively, they had in 2013 $5.9 billion in revenue. The interesting thing is that the last study done on these things was like in 2005 by the people at Bieber. No one really knows the economic impact of these things. So, okay, you got a lot of nonprofits. No one knows how much of that money is coming in from out of state. If it is coming in from out of state, it's a good thing because it's new money and it kind of grows the economy.
Sure.
Fascinating things that most of these, the biggies are healthcare organizations. Presbyterian is the largest with, I think, $1.6 billion in revenue. I think most of the top 20 are healthcare organizations.
Right.
And we looked at some of the salaries of some of these people as well, and we found that pretty interesting. Jim Hinton's making, in total compensation, about $2.7 million a year.
Nice.
A lot of people will say, that's a lot of money. On the other hand, he's running an organization that that employs 10,000 people.
Right.
So we found it very interesting just to take a look at the size of this sector. The other interesting thing about it, okay, United Way. A lot of people love United Way. Some people hate United Way. Well, United Way is raising record amounts of money. At the same time, one of my guy interviewed, Mark Lautman, economic developer, says, look, how can we keep funding all these nonprofits at record levels when the economic development organizations, their funding keeps dropping? They're nonprofits as well. AED, Albuquerque Economic Development, over the past several years, its revenue, its budget has dropped. The Rio Rancho Economic Development Corporation disbanded because of problems up there. They're now trying to reform an organization with about $400,000, but that's down from the $600,000. So as Lautman says, hey, our business community has a heart, but are they really smart with their money? We've got a jobs crisis here. We've got an economic crisis in this city.
No doubt about
Double
it.
recession.
Double dip recession, and so we should at least prioritize, and maybe some of those businesses ought to think about giving a little more to AED. It's in terms of what we're doing in economic development, jobs creation, it's minuscule. The budgets of these organizations are actually pathetic in terms of what we need. And economic development these days doesn't just happen, and it isn't the mayor going out and talking to a CEO and saying, hey, would you like to live here? It's a more complex thing than that. And if you don't have an organization, an apparatus that is really skilled, that has a decent amount of people to get out there, you're not going to do that well.
Right.
And we haven't been.
Right.
So
And we're
that's
up against some fierce competition.
Oh, good God. When you look at the jobs creation, month over month on a year-to-year basis, okay, Colorado, 20, 30,000 jobs. Arizona, 20, 30,000 jobs. Texas, their jobs are measured in the hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Utah is creating 15, 18,000 new jobs. We're losing jobs.
Right.
So we are, I mean, this state is really up against it. And part of the problem is, I mean, as one guy said, Ellen Parkman, you know, money goes where people are and where workers are. We ain't any of those.
Right.
And
well said.
We're remote. I don't think we have a single navigable waterway to move goods. You know, it's a matter of geography. I don't know how you overcome that.
This is something Albuquerque Business First will continue to write about, and in a very forthright way, too.
Yeah, well, someone has to.
I'm glad you guys are. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Dennis, good to see you. Thanks
Good
for
to
coming
see you.
down.
You're welcome.
Dennis Domrzalski with Albuquerque Business First on this first day of the week. We'll be back in a moment on the Morning Brew.